Hello friends, welcome to our channel Knowledge Amplifier, and today we are going to discuss another very important topic related to data engineering, and especially if you are working in creating big data pipeline with Snowflake and different AWS services. Okay, so today's topic is SCD Type 2, that is slowly changing dimension Type 2 implementation in Snowflake. Okay, what is SCD Type 2? I hope you have some fundamental idea. That is nothing but a particular technique to capture all the changed dimension where we retain the full history in the target table, right? That is whatever insert, update, delete, whatever happens or how many time happens in the source table, all these things are getting tracked in our target table, right? Now let's see how we can implement it. Okay, so let's start with a source table which is having employee related information, which is employee ID, basically, which is primary key for our source table, then employee name, then employee salary and HRA. Okay, right? And then here we are having our target table, which is having almost same structure, just 2-3 columns extra added. So employee ID, employee name, employee salary, HRA are common. Then first we have added one surrogate key we popularly use in our data warehousing systems, right? Which is nothing but a synthetic primary key. You can think like a continuously auto increment value kind of stuff. Okay, in Snowflake you can implement surrogate key with sequence concept, right? So that is one thing which we added, which is not present in our source. And apart from that, we added start date, end date, that is from which time till which time that particular record is valid. Okay, and active flag. Okay, currently that particular record is valid or not. To indicate that, we have added active flag. If it is set to Y, that means that record is valid. Our downstream curate or publish layer or downstream ETL jobs can consume that record. And if active flag is N, that means in past that record was used, but currently that record is changed, maybe deleted or updated, something happened. So that kind of indicator we can create using active flag. Okay, right? That's pretty much the target table structure. Okay, now let's start in the historical date, that is first time what will happen. Okay, so suppose we are having our source table like this and target table is completely empty. So case 1 what we are going to discuss is insert case. Okay, that is suppose in source, if you consider historical date, then all these data are there which has to be inserted in the target, or at any point of time, suppose in source some new record is there which is not present in target. Okay, with respect to target we have to insert that, right? So how to detect those records which has to be inserted from source to target? Let us try to understand that first. Okay, the technique is very simple. What is the technique or algorithm? That is, if you consider in our this particular source, the primary key is employee ID or employee number, right? Now, those employee number, listen it very carefully. Those employee number which are present in source but not present in target, those are nothing but new records, and those has to be inserted from source to target. Very simple, right? So all I am saying that you just compare in between source employee number column and targets employee number column and check what employee numbers are available in source but not available in target. Okay, then in that case those employee numbers only new records which has to be inserted, right? So our insert query can look like this: insert into target table. Okay, in target table what we will do, we will just make an insert in employee number or employee ID, employee name, salary and HRA. Okay, only in these 4 columns we will make entry. Okay, surrogate key will be default value auto increment sequence. Okay, and then start date, this also will be keeping as default value as current timestamp. Okay, current timestamp will be default value for this, so it will be automatically populated. End date will be by default null. Okay, we no need to fill. Suppose some data is getting updated or deleted, in that case we can put the end date at that particular day's timing. Okay, and active flag we will be keeping a default value as Y. Okay, so whatever insert we want to make from source to target, for them only these columns has to be, we have to insert from source to target. Okay, surrogate will be taking default value auto increment 1, start date will be current timestamp by default, and active flag will be Y, that is yes, yes, it is active row, that it will indicate as a default value. Okay. So what we are doing here, insert into target table. These 4 columns we want to insert in the target table from source. What records we are taking from source? The query is select employee number, employee name, salary and HRA. The 4 columns whatever available in source, we are taking that from source table. And here is the important condition, where employee number or employee ID, this is what employee ID column, this is source employee ID column, right? Because here we are taking the data from source table, right? So where employee number, that is this particular column information, is not in, select distinct employee number from target table. Okay. So what we are doing in this subquery, we are trying to fetch all the distinct employee number from the target table, and we are trying to find out only those employee numbers which are present in source but not present in target. Those rows alone we are inserting in the target table. Okay, very much simple. I hope you are getting it. So if we execute this particular query, after execution of this, we will be getting this in the source set, which is whatever we are having here. The same thing is available here. But in the target, how it will be coming? All these records will be coming, because all these employee IDs, as you can see in the initial state, target is empty, and that's why all these employee IDs are basically not available in target but available in source. That's why all these rows will be getting inserted. Surrogate key will be auto increment sequence. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that it will be going, because 6 records are there. Okay. Active indicator, as I have told you, it will be default value as Y. So it will be taking the default value. And start date, basically also we are putting as default value. So start date also it will be taking as per the default configuration in the DDL of the target table. Okay. So that is sorted. So now we have understood how from source to target, if some insert happens in source, how that data can go from source to target. Not only in the first day or historical day, at any time in incremental or at any stage, if we execute this query will detect only those records which are basically newly inserted in the source, and it will put that in the target from the source. We are perfectly fine. Now let's see the update concept. Okay. So this particular concept, this insert query, update query, delete query, whatever logic I am going to discuss with respect to SCD, either you can execute with one stored procedure in Snowflake, or you can basically run it as shell scripting using SnowSQL, or maybe what you can do, you can create Python connector with Snowflake and execute them one by one. All these possibilities are available. Okay, you may be scheduling it using AutoSys or Airflow. All this kind of stuffs you can do. Okay, so I hope insert is clear. Now let's go to update. I'm going very slowly so that you will be having a clear picture. Okay, because these queries are only important stuff from where you are running, whether using Python or stored procedure. Those are secondary stuffs. If you understand the concept, then whatever language you are comfortable, you can implement, whether that can be SnowSQL or that can be JavaScript or that can be Python or any other language, right? Okay, cool. Now what we are doing, let's try to understand one update scenario. So initially we are having this kind of source and target setup, right? Now what happens in source, you see the employee A is having salary 2000 rupees. Okay. And after the year end promotion, the salary of the A is getting incremented by a very good percentage. And now the salary of employee A is 5690. Okay. Right. All other records are unchanged. Okay. And in target, if you see till now, the salary for A is showing 2000, right? We have to execute some update query. First of all, we have to detect that what are the rows for which the data got updated, right? And then that updated data we have to insert in the target table as a new row, as well as the older record, that is this particular record which is no longer valid. For them, we will be putting the end date and we will be making this active flag as N. That will indicate that this record is no longer valid. We have to refer some other row which has latest information related to employee. That's the SCD2, right? That is storing the full history, right? So how we can do that? And for that we can use the hashing concept. Very simple, okay? So what we will do, we will be keeping our employee number or employee ID as a column, and then with all other columns in our source, I will be getting the hash value. Okay, that is employee name, salary and HRA. So if we apply hash of employee name, salary and HRA, we'll be getting the corresponding hash value. And as you know, for a particular input, hash value is always unique, right? So if any change happens in employee name or salary or HRA, this particular hash value will obviously differ. Okay. Similarly, same thing will implement in our target table. Okay. We'll be having our employee number column or employee ID column, and we'll be computing our hash value for all other columns. Like in this case, employee name, salary and HRA. Okay. Right. And if you compare these hash values, you will see only for the employee number or employee ID 100, that is basically employee A, for that employee only, in between the source and target, the hash value is not matching. Okay. For all other employees, if you compare the corresponding hash values in between source and target, it will be exactly matching, right? And using this, we can understand that, okay, fine, something in between employee name or salary or HRA, something got changed in the source for this particular employee ID 100. Okay. So the concept is hashing concept we are applying on all other columns apart from the primary key column with respect to source, and that hash value we are comparing in between source and target to understand whether any change happened or not in between source and target. Okay. Now what we can do once we get the hash value, we can do a inner join. Okay, because whatever employee number is available here, with respect to those only we want to compare in target, and while making inner join, we will put a where clause, that is, I want to get only those records or those rows which is having different hash value in between source table and target table. Okay, and that employee numbers is basically those employee numbers which are changed. Okay, that is, in this case, if you do inner join between this output and this output, and then if you just filter such that only different hash values will be returning as output, then in this particular row number 42 only the hash value is different, so it will return the employee number 100. Okay, and this employee number 100, what we will do then, we will basically insert from source to target, and for the employee number 100 we'll update the older value. Okay, we'll update the active flag as n, and end date will be making as the end date as that particular timestamp. That is, from that timestamp onwards, that particular older record is no longer valid. Okay, so what is our logic? Create or replace table, updated employee ID as. Okay, so here I am creating an intermediate table. Popularly in many companies, these kind of tables are known as work table. Okay, that is, it don't contain our actual information, it just act like a lookup table or work table which can help us in generating our required data. Okay, so create or replace table, updated employee ID. So this particular table has only one single column, and that column will contain only those employee IDs which are updated with in between source and target. Okay, so what we have done here, I have used one common table expression. Okay, with TGU as, so TGU basically our this particular table it will be. Okay, that is hash value and employee number column. So let's see how the query is. Select employee number and hash value of employee name, salary and HRA as hash value target. Okay, that is this particular column name alias I am giving as hash value target. So for target, apart from the primary key, whatever columns are there, for that we are computing the hash value and we are putting that in this column from the target table, where, okay, where employee number or employee ID in, select distinct employee ID or employee number from source table. Okay, so we are basically computing this kind of table only for those records which are common in between source and target, because only in case of those records which are available both in source as well as target, in that case only we need to check update is required or not, right? So that's what I am doing here. With TGU as, select employee number hash value from the target table, where target table's employee ID is present in source table's employee ID. Okay, also we are putting one more condition, active flag as Y, because this kind of table we only want to compute for latest record. We don't need to bother if active flag is N, because active flag is N means already either that is updated or deleted. That record is basically past data. That is not the latest one. So only will be computing this kind of hash value, and this employee number, that is this particular table, will be generating for target if active flag is Y. Okay, and the employee ID is present in both source and target. Okay, and same thing will be same way. This will be creating this particular table for source also. That is SGU is the name in common table expression for creating this particular table. Okay, as select employee number and hash value of employee name, salary and HRA as hash value source. Okay, so this is storing the hash value for the source apart from the primary key column from source table, where employee number, what employee number, that is this particular employee numbers I am saying, where employee number in select distinct employee number from target table. That is basically we are computing the hash value for employee name, salary and HRA and taking employee number in another column and generating this kind of data only for those records which are present both in source and target. Okay, and this way, using these two with clause, we have generated this one as well as this one. Okay, now what we will do, we will do a inner join. Okay, so here what we are doing, see, select SGU dot employee number. I am taking employee number from TGU inner join SGU. TGU nothing but this particular table, that is this particular table, and SGU nothing but this particular table as per our common table expression, right? So TGU inner join SGU on TGU dot employee number equal to SGU dot employee number. Okay, so on employee number we are joining, right? And also I have told you, right, that we will be putting a where clause where TGU dot hash value target not equal to SGU dot hash value target. Okay, this way after doing inner join, only this particular row number 42 will be getting filtered out, because only for this row hash value in between source and target are different. Okay, so what we are doing basically, we are using the power of hashing, and what hashing says, if anything changes, then hash value will be changed in the output. Okay, that's why we are trying to understand whether any of these column in between source and target changed or not. Okay, instead of comparing column by column, we are comparing their hash values. That's the only stuff we are doing. Okay, and that way what will happen after execution of this particular query, in the updated employee ID table, okay, which is a work table, there employee number will be stored which is getting updated in source. Okay, like in this case, the updated employee ID table will have only one record 100. Okay, because only the employee ID 100 is updated in source and target has some data which is not the latest one. Okay, now once we identified, okay, these are the records which are updated in source and we have to update in target also, then we will simply update in target, right? So what we are doing here, update target table, set, what we have to set, we have to set the end date, right? So if you see this particular target table, what is our current status? A's salary, it is still showing 2000, but here actually it is updated, right? So what we have to do, we have to update this end date. We have to make the end of this particular row in the current timestamp as well as active flag we have to make as n, so that it will indicate it is the past data. Okay, so that's what we are doing here. Update target table, set end date equal to current timestamp colon string. So current timestamp we are putting in the end date, where employee number basically I am saying employee ID for target table in select star from updated employee ID. Okay, so in updated employee ID, whatever record we are having, for those in the target table we will update the end date, okay, as current timestamp. Okay, also only for those which is having active flag as Y. If active flag as N, then we no need to update this again. We no need to consider those. Only in target table, always whatever insert update delete we will be doing, we will be considering with respect to latest record. And how we can understand latest record? There are two ways. Either end date is null in our case, or active flag is Y. Anything is perfectly fine, you can implement. Okay, so if active flag is Y, for those records we will update the end date only for those employee IDs whatever is present in updated employee ID. Okay, because this updated employee ID table has captured only those employee IDs for which the data is updated in source and target has older, right? Very simple. Same way, like how we have updated the end date in the destination or target, same way we will be updating the active flag. Okay, update table, target table, set active flag as n, where employee number. So this employee number is indicating the target table's employee ID column, right? In select star from updated employee ID and active flag equal to y. Simple, right? We are basically updating this particular active flag also n, which will indicate this is a past data. Okay. So past data we have handled. Now we have to insert the latest data also, right? A's current salary is 5,690. That one we have to flow in the target table as a new record, right? So older data we have updated. Now for newer latest information from source, if we have to put in target, then we will put another insert query. There is insert into target table. Again, we will be putting in only those column employee number, employee name, salary and HRA, whatever required. How we did in our first insert case. Okay, select employee number, employee name, salary, HRA from source table, where in source table the employee ID basically presenting the updated employee ID, because whatever present in updated employee ID, only those employee IDs information we have to take from source and put in target table as a new record, right? So that's what we are doing here, and that way after execution of all these 4 queries, this is completely one create table query, and these 3 queries after execution of these will be having these steps. Okay, what happened? See, A's salary was updated, right? Earlier salary was 2,000. So here end date is updated with the end date, and active flag is set as in. And not only that, one more new row is getting inserted, which is pointing to A's latest salary, right? So here you can see salary is 5,690, whatever we are getting here, and then here end date is null, which will indicate that this is the current data, or active flag is y, whatever you are comfortable. The active flag y also indicate that this is the latest. Okay, this way we are able to handle the update case. Okay, instead of individual column by column comparison, I am comparing hash value level. That's the only trick. Okay, and while comparing hash value, don't keep the employee number. Okay, that is not required. Employee number you can keep as a joint column separately. Okay, I hope up to this clear. And the last case is delete case. Okay, I'll be explaining how to flow the deleted data from source to target. Okay, so what we are doing here basically this is what is our state currently, right? Update case, whatever table we were having here, that same table I have taken here. Okay, and whatever target table we are having here, that same target table I have taken here. Okay, now what I am saying, that suppose this particular row number 87, which is having the information about employee ID 102, which is having name C, that employee suppose leaving the organization. Okay, and that way from our OLTP system the data got deleted. Okay, now what we have to do in target table, here this employee C's information is present, so we have to make sure that we have to change this active flag indicator as in, and we have to put the end date also. That way it will indicate that this employee C's information is no longer the current state information. Maybe he or she has left, or maybe if some latest information is there, we have to take that. Okay, right? So this is basically our case 3. Case 1 was insert, case 2 was update, and case 3 is delete. Okay, delete is very simple. How we can understand deleted records? The technique to understand deleted record is, if some employee ID is present in target table. Okay, listen this very carefully. If some employee ID is present in target table, but that employee ID is not present in source table, that means from source the employee's data is deleted, right? That's the simple catch. Okay, and that only we are using here. See what I have written, update target table. Okay, here we have to update the target table, right? For delete case, only the end date and active flag we have to update. That's all. So update target table, set end date as current timestamp, and we are casting to string, where employee number basically in target table employee number in, and very carefully try to understand the inner query. Okay, inner query is basically identifying those records which are deleted. And what is the algorithm to understand deleted records? Those records which are present in target but not present in source, those are basically deleted records, right? So select employee number from target table, where employee number not in, select distinct employee number from source table. That is, we are taking only those employee numbers from target table which are not in source table's employee number column. Okay, and end date is null. Okay, and end date is null. Basically, we are putting one more condition in the target table. End date is null is basically indicating that is the current data, right? Either end date is null or active indicator as y, whatever you say. So only for those records, what we will do, we will update the end date as correct timestamp, and also we have to update the active flag also, right? So we are putting here update target table set active flag as in, where employee number in, select employee number from target table, where employee number not in source table. Okay, and active flag as y. Okay, so if active flag is y, for those we will be making active flag as in if employee number present in target but not present in source. Very simple, right? And after execution of these two updates, what will happen? So this is our current state for our source table. In the target table, only the C employees information, that is employee number 102 is such number which is present in target but not present in source. So the first update query will update the end date with current timestamp, which will indicate that this particular data is now ending here. After this, it will not be latest information. Okay, and also what we are doing, we are making the active flag as in, okay, which will indicate it is no longer valid. Maybe the employee has left or something. Okay, right? I hope you understood the delete scenario also, and this whole stuff you can automate using Python. Okay, only some programming catch I can tell you, like just for example, here in this particular scenario, we are having employee number, employee name, salary, and HRA as column. So for update case, while calculating the hash value, what we are doing, apart from employee number, which is the primary key for our source table, apart from that, here we are taking all other columns to compute the hash value, right? So this computation you can do dynamically using Python. Okay, from the information schema, you can get all the columns available in a particular table, and you can take what is the source table's primary key column from user input. Okay, and you just remove that particular column from the list of all the columns present in source table, and for all those columns you compute the hash value. Like that automation little bit you can do. So the code I'll be providing in the description box or in the comment section. It is a very simple code. Whatever I have discussed here, that only I have implemented, just little bit dynamically. Okay, so here I will go to PyCharm and I will show you. So as you can see here we are taking in the main function, we are taking the source table name, target table name, and primary key column. Okay, in the source table, only these things we have to take user input. Okay, and then we can run our code to implement SCD type 2. So let's see our implementation. Okay, so first what we are doing, create or replace source table. We are creating a source table and we are inserting some data in it. Okay, now here, as I have told you, in target table, this surrogate key will be a Snowflake sequence. We are creating the sequence and very carefully observe the target table DDL. Okay, surrogate key is always auto implement, so we are putting sequence.nextFile. Then employee number, employee name, salary, HRA. Okay, these values we have to take from source table to target table, right? So no default value we are putting. Start date, from when the data is valid, that anyway I have told you, right, that default value will be current timestamp whenever we are inserting the data in the target table from source. And end date we have to update using our query, and active flag also default value we are keeping as y. Okay, right? So now what we are doing, we are doing select star from source table and we are doing select star from target table. Okay, right? Pretty much it. And now what we will do, we will basically run our code. Okay, if we run our code, what will happen? Currently target is completely empty, right? And in source all these records are there. There are total 6 records are there, right? So all these 6 records should be inserted in the target table. Okay, so all we'll do, we'll just click on this and we'll run this code. Okay, don't worry about the code, it is a very simple code and line by line print statement is there. Even you can improve the code, maybe some edge case my code is missing, you can add this edge case and you can put your edge case where this code is failing in the description box so that we can discuss further. I'll be very happy to discuss with you if you are getting such use case. Okay, not at all an issue. So here basically it is executing all this, right? We have to wait a little bit and it is done. So here if we go to target table and now if I execute the target table, here you will see this information we are getting. Surrogate keys always auto implement 6 values and then employee number, employee name, salary, HRA, exactly whatever they are in source, we are getting that in target. Start date, it is beautifully showing the start date, end date as null, and active indicator as well. Active indicator, start date, surrogate key, all these are coming from the table DDL, the default values whatever we have mentioned, right? Now let's do one thing. Okay, what we'll do, we will basically insert two more records. Okay, 110 and 150. Okay, in the source table, right? So here we have inserted, cool. And now if you see in our source table, here see 110 and 115 are coming. Okay, now if you see our target table, here we will not see 110 and 115 information. So let's run our code and let's see whether it is able to insert only those two records or not. That is, now we are running the code to understand whether it is able to detect the data which are inserted or not. Okay. So it is done. And now what I will do, I will go to our target table and I will execute select star from target table. Okay. Now if I doing that, see surrogate key 8 and 7 and 8 added. Okay. That is whatever information 110 and 115 we added, those are coming here. Okay. With their start date. Okay. End date is null. Now what we will do, we will test update case. Okay. So what we are doing, a salary which is basically initially 2000 rupees, after increment a got 5690 rupees. Okay. And for the employee CD, okay, for the employee CD, maybe HRA column I can update. Okay, HRA column I can update as HRA 185, right? So HRA I can keep. Let's keep this one 645. Okay. So any column apart from the primary key column, if any column is changing in the source, then it should be catched in the target also. Okay. And because we are updating something, so A's older data, this particular data for this active flag should be set as in and end date should be coming. Same goes for CD. Okay, for CD also end date we should be getting and active flag should be set as in. That way we can understand this is older data. Okay, all we will do, we'll basically execute this to update query in this system. Okay, cool, it is done. Right. So before running the code, here I will run the target table once and show you. See, A salary is still 2000 and for CD the HR is still 185. Okay, and as I have told you, right, that in case of update, one intermediate table we are creating which is updated employee ID. If I run this one, as of now it is empty. Updated employee ID is only used to catch those employee numbers which are updated. Okay, so after running our code, we should see A's employee ID and CD's employee ID here because they are something we have updated, right? So we will run this one. And it is successful. So now if I go and do select start from updated employee ID, here we are getting 115 and 100. And if you see for employee A, the employee ID is 100, and for employee CD, whatever another we updated, that employee ID is 150. So it is perfectly detecting only those employee IDs which are updated. Okay. Now we should see the information in target table also. So what we will do, we will basically do select start from target table. Okay. Let's do that, right? See, very carefully try to understand. See, this is our A, okay, which is having surrogate key 1. Surrogate key 1 means this is our first information about A, right? So if you see here, end date, it is showing something, 927, okay, and active indicator is A. A's initial salary was what? 2000. So it is showing this salary is past data, okay. And if you see another information about A is added, and if you see a surrogate key is 9, and see here this is the start time, okay, and here see active flag as Y, which is indicating A status, okay. And for CD, see in row number 8 one information was there, but here it is end date, right? End date is there and active flag is N, that means it is past data. And see here one more new record got added for CD, which is having the same salary but HRA is getting updated. And start date here we are getting, end date is null because this is the latest data, so end date is null and active flag also set as Y, right? I hope it is crystal clear to you. Okay, cool. Now what we will do, we will observe the delete scenario. Okay, so for that what we will do, we will basically delete a record from our source. Okay, delete from source table where employee name is B. Okay, we're executing that, one row got affected. So if I do now select star from source table, here you will see that B employee name is not there, right? But if you see the target table currently, here B employee name is there and it is showing still valid because active flag is Y. Now let's see whether delete scenario it is able to catch or not. Okay, so let's run the code. And it is done. Now see here B salary ended is showing null, right? I will just execute select start from target table. See B's ended it is showing 9:30. Okay, and active flag is in. That means this record is past data, it is no longer. Okay, perfect. So we have seen insert, update, delete, all these possible cases it is able to handle. Now in a single shot, let's do insert, update, delete, all these three things and let's see whether it is working or not. Okay, so what we are doing, B already we have deleted, right? Maybe B resigned from the organization, he or she worked in another organization and then he or she again coming back to the same organization. Okay, then obviously B will be getting a new employee number. Earlier it was 101, now it is maybe something different. Okay, and similarly A's salary, A got another increment. So A's initial salary was 2000, then it got incremented to 5690. Now A got another increment and A's salary is 7000. Okay, and what we are doing, we are deleting the record for employee C. Maybe employee C is leaving the organization. Okay, but in target table it is still showing as a valid record. So what I will do, I will do all this insert, okay, update and delete. Perfect. Right. Now if I do select start from source table, if I just show you, here you will see A's latest salary is 7000. Okay, and here C is not there because C left, and B, that employee again joined in the same organization, so he or she got a new employee number or employee ID. Okay, but if you see the target table, here you will see B's information only present in this particular row and it is showing in, it is not valid. Okay, and then here for A it is showing the older salary only, and employee C's information still persists in this case with active flag as well. Okay, so all this insert, update, delete it is able to handle or not. Let's run this code and let's test it. Okay, so it is taking some time, let's wait for that. And here it is done. Now what we will do, we will go back to our target table and we will run this one and see the beauty. Okay, first point, C, employee C left, right, in source. That's why here ended it is showing and active flag is showing as in, right? Then employee A, okay, he or she got incremented and latest salary 7000. That's why it is showing that. Okay, but if you observe A's older scenario, first data related to A was present 2000, okay, which was present from 924 till 927. Okay, then here A got incremented one time and A's salary was 5690. Okay, this particular record was valid from 927 to 932. Okay, and at 932 A's salary again got incremented, which is basically this one, and it is basically the latest one because active flag is Y. Okay, so that's what pretty much it. And one more thing, for B we inserted, right? B again came back, so here you can see B again came back, that's why B's data is also. So this way you can handle SCD type 2 in Snowflake using very simple SQL concepts and Python. Okay, I hope you understood this. If you find this video helpful, then please like, share and comment, subscribe our channel if you have not subscribed till now, and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notification of our latest videos. Thank you for watching.